Ave cohort. It is Saturday, which means that it is time for Pilum Teaches DCS, and oh, do we have a special one here for you today. As of yesterday's patch, we now have full access to the F-100D Super Saber, as well as the F-14A-45 export variant of the Tomcat, which is an extremely polite way of saying the Iranian Tomcat, as that's the only place we really exported that aircraft to. So we're going to be spending most of our time in the Super Saber today, as compared to the F-16, and carrying on with our series on that we've been working with. But this should be good to get into another old-timey Cold War aircraft and a veteran of early Vietnam service. So let's go ahead and flip things over to DCS, and we'll take some walk-arounds of a few different aircraft on display and talk about some of the novel features that are inside this one, which you might have known about if you've watched any of the videos leading up to it. There's certainly people who've had this aircraft in an accessible format before I have, but here we are. So the F-100D Super Saber is an aircraft designed initially in 1952 as a supersonic day fighter and successor to the F-86. The F-86 was very much doing Korean War actions against MiG-15s, and both the Soviet Union and the Americans were looking to design what was going to come next. And the Soviet Union went with the MiG-17, Fresco, I believe is its NATO reporting name, that had an afterburning engine on it. And we went with the F-100 Super Saber. The F-100 is a supersonic aircraft, but only just so, in a clean configuration. With the afterburner running, it has only one stage on the afterburner, which is on. Features 4 20mm cannons here and a recess under the nose, and a flush to the lower hull. It has a very signature catfish-like air intake in the front, a little bit of a gun ranging radar up front in the nose, and it comes with two engine configurations aft. And that's the 21 version of that one, and that is the later model -23. We'll be using the -23 today. I did fly around a little bit last night with the -21, just so I can get used to using the older engine and some of the jank first. Comes with 3 different refueling probe options. You have the straight probe, which is an alternate. You have the bent probe, which is the service version of the air refueling option that was available to the jet. It does bring that probe up just barely within the pilot's field of view, which we'll see when we're in our own aircraft. And of course, it comes with no probe at all. The aircraft we're using today, I'm going to be using the catfish skin on it, for it is a little fish. And we're going to be carrying up a single Shrike. We're going to be carrying up a pair of M117 bombs, fuel tanks for the range and endurance, as you really almost need to carry those all the time, except on extremely close or air refueling type missions, and a pair of AIM-9E sidewinders, which are newly available here to DCS. We do have a lot of arming options available for the jet, which we'll look at here before we get started. And the last one that I wanted to zip out here and look at is this option, because in the 50s we had some weird thoughts, some exceedingly weird thoughts. This is the Zero-Length Launch System, or the ZEL system, which basically this is a truck bed that they could wheel an F-100 out in the middle of nowhere, strap a rocket motor onto the back of it, pitch the nose up on it. There's little actuators and hydraulic rams there that can lift the aircraft and point it skyward. And that rocket motor would get it up to operating speed. So between it and the engine being running, it would get to a point where it would be self-sustaining and could fly out of practically anywhere. I'm not going to be using the ZEL system today, wild as it is, as I've not spent any time with it whatsoever yet. And before spectacularly crashing that thing into the ground, we'll take time to use it and make sure we can actually get into the air with it. The aircraft that we are bringing up today, one of the other features about the F-100D that we have is the Project Highwire version, which is a modernization program for the F-100D. The F-100D was a staple of early SEAD in the Vietnam War. In ground attack, it really kind of cut its bones and cut its teeth as a ground attack aircraft, dropping napalm canisters, snake eyes, rockets. It is one of the earlier Wild Weasel variants, which the F-4 eventually supplanted in that role. So, lot to admire about this particular airframe and its little place in history. So, as far as what we're going to go up and do today, we're going to be doing some of the things that we've done with the F-4 here so far. We're going to be taking off from Nellis and cruising out towards Creech, and then pushing out towards Alamo, so we can hopefully get our Shrike into the SA-2 system that's up here, and then maybe deal with a couple of MiG-21s and see where we get to, and catch a tanker on the way back. So let's go ahead and start this beast. We're going to do this one with a starter cartridge.
Chief, install the starter cartridge. Copy.
It should be noted that the front panel here, you can go to the team's website there, which is included in the special options section. And you can configure your own setup for steam gauges and everything else. So you can really customize some of the features there in the jet. From over here to the right corner, I'm just going to make sure that our generators are on in both AC and DC generators. I'll turn on the battery. I'm going to turn our engine master on and flip the guarded switch down. Tick up our anti-skid. And with that, we're going to go ahead and engage the starter. Much like the F-4, and that shotgun shell is rapidly firing the engine up to temperature and speed. And take the throttle out of detent as we near 15 to 20%. And as we get to about 40, we'll turn that starter off. We are working with some coffee here this morning, Chief. And as the engine comes on, you heard the door panels close underneath for the landing gear as the hydraulic system is engaged. Go and set ourselves up for the interim fuel tank feed so we can start draining out of our fuel tanks. Carrying a Shrike on our right inner station. Let's put these guys into normal. And at the moment, we're just kind of waiting on all of the other systems to fully engage. So our drop tank fuel quantity, internal fuel flow, engine pressures, our TACAN, everything else. In fact, let's go ahead and set up our TACAN. That'll be for Creech. That'll be our first stop. We have rheostats for all our lighting, our IFF system, which we should turn on. Already pulled the pins for our ejector seat. And we are otherwise looking good. I'm going to bring the canopy down. See our refueling probe out there, just barely within the pilot's field of view in a normal seating position. And at this point, we're ready to go. We can start rolling out. We're going to be a little more careful with the throttle than we would on some other aircraft, as rapid responses in both directions can cause its own issues. And compressor stalls and the like. Sure, our altimeter's all good to go. All right. Tap our nose wheel steering button so that it is on. And unlike the Saber, you don't have to hold that button down to execute turns or anything along those lines or use differential braking. It does have fully responsive nose wheel steering. I also updated the gate guardians over at Freedom Park here on Nellis Air Force Base to include the Super Saber in its position there. Wonder if we ever get the F-105 Thunder Chief, I can pull the Mirage that's in there right now and replace it with the 105. All of our flags have come off for our ADIs, which is nice. It does take it a little bit once it's gotten started. Like, you don't have to wait for an alignment, because, you know, what alignment? But you do have to wait for the various hydraulic systems and steam gauges to be operational. And while we're rolling up here, we'll just make sure that we get our cockpit pressurization going. Bring up some console airflow and everything else. Keep things nice and climate controlled for the jet. And we'll turn on our RWR. Much like the F-14, you do have to think, or at least the A model F-14, I should clarify, you do have to think ahead of the jet, as this does suffer from early engine response time, in that it doesn't have one. Okay. We should be good to go. Let's go ahead and drop our flaps to the half flap or takeoff position with Shift F. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. The F4 refers to it as a raw as well, at least in all the red flag documentation and everything else, but it is effectively, for the modern pilot trying to climb into it, the radar warning receiver to let you know that you're being lit up by something. It does pick out a fairly significant number of radars, though, which is kind of nice. But you're going to have to learn to listen to all of the different PRFs and frequencies and whatnot. All right, running it up to 100% military power. And engaging the afterburner detent. Brakes released. 150 knots, nose wheel's coming up. Gears coming up, flaps are coming up. Start turning northwestwardly here. And the raw is starting to pick up signals from somewhere. Gonna take it out of afterburner. And then we'll trim a little bit here. I do like the descriptions that I've heard about this aircraft from some of the other folks that have been reviewing it in the days leading up to release. That it does feel heavy, because it does. It's not, super light and, hyper twitchy or responsive. Every movement that you make with it feels like it matters in some regard. This was absolutely the days of solving all problems with more engine power. It does have unrefuelable fuel tanks that you can carry on certain stations. Most of your heavier ground weapons are going to be on those inner pylons, which you can configure a pair of sidewinders and one other set of stores. Whether it's like, three snake eyes or, something like along those lines. Your outer wing pylons can hold lighter weapons in smaller numbers, including the Bolt 117, which was one of the very first laser-guided bombs that we'd used. So again, if you got a buddy laser out there somewhere, you can deliver precision weapons to a target so long as you can get it close enough that it can see it. The Bolt 117, I believe, is just an M117 with a guidance kit on it. When I land or have to recover somewhere, we'll grab some just to look at them, as they look hilarious. Like the M117 bomb is very streamlined and bomb-like, and it looks like it'll just glide through the air and do its thing. The Bolt has like, well, we'll look at it. We'll look at it later. It's doing its best. F-100Ds were used in the middle phases of the Vietnam War before their eventual withdrawal. For CAS runs, because those 20mm autocannons in the nose, some of the earlier Mark F-4s did not have a gun at all unless they were carrying a pod. So F-100 drivers would be tasked with strafing different sections to protect troops, coming in for rocket runs, snake eye passes. Designed as an air superiority fighter, eventually ended up using as a fighter bomber and excelling better in that role. Alright, let's go ahead and start getting ourselves set up for our Shrike work. We're going to go ahead and use our armament selector to go to the Shrike, which you can see is stapled over with some of that classic letter gun making stuff.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 032-450 at 12,000 knots.
And let's go ahead and warm up our guns too and get the gun selector set up. The plan is to fly over Creech and then turn northeast and head towards Alamo. Just like the F4, you have a loft or a direct path Shrike that you can use.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 033-450 at 12,000 knots.
However, unlike the F4, you have neither a bombing computer or crosshairs to really kind of tell you when you are effectively lined up with the target. So it is a little bit of guesswork, but you do have the Shrike tone to let you know when you're pointing at it, so you just kind of listen to when it is screaming at you the loudest. Hopefully get a visual fix on your target area if you're using it in direct mode. And let them have it. That would be the SA-6 that's operating out here. We're well outside of his reach. He's not going to be able to shoot us at all. So for him, I'm not concerned. They do have Thunderbird paint jobs. As the F-100 is a Thunderbird aircraft that they flew for a while in the 60s. Others include, very, very briefly, the F-105, the F-4, T-38, F-16. Hopefully as we get out of his emitter range, he will drop off the raw. And he has less of a problem.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 054-435 at 12,000 knots.
Okay, we've got some playmates that are out there, but I'm hopefully going to sneak past him. And if I have to, we're going to go ahead and get into a fight and put the AIM-7E to work. Or I'm sorry, AIM-9E to work. Hear the surge pulses from the SA-2. Each of these are lining up with what type of radar it's seeing. Oh yeah, no, I used AIM-9Es last night when I was doing a little bit of testing work there for it, and managed a bag of 21 with it. It was a great time. Okay, so thankfully we've attacked this one enough that we know kind of where we're going and what we're attacking, where the SA-2 system is. But I do want some more altitude. Let's go ahead and kick in the burner. There's our town and our SAM site. Alright. Magnum. And we're gonna hope for the best. Tells us that it is a G-band SAM. And he sees it, but he may not have the energy to get there. Probably need a little bit more loft. But that we get strike guidance at all is a happy medium. It cannot. No, A model strikes are the only ones they've got in there right now for the aircraft for DCS. Okay, that's our Ripple computer. Set up our distance. Armor pylons.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 080, 419 at 12,000 knots.
Yeah, it is, especially when it's available to the A4, which is not much younger of an, or not much older of an aircraft than, no, younger, not much younger of an aircraft than this one. Had it right the first time. Okay, let's go ahead and uncage our sight. And select bombs. Oh, we got friends. Oop. Mm. Yeah, I think it's time to go ahead and just get rid of the bombs. All right, I gotta select bombs. And we're off Sidewinders. Let's give it a little bit of juice. Remember, we have no flares. Come on.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, pop-up group 12043 at 4,500 knots.
So many damn grease smudges on this cockpit.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, pop-up group 26643 at 4,500 cold. Dodge 2, Overlord.
There we go. They're off.
Group 13342 at 5,000 cold. Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 28641 at 6,000 knots.
Come on, give me another 50 knots. It was all aspect I'd have had him. I think we're rounding the corner on him.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, pop-up group 04442 at 6,000 knots.
Box 2.
Dodge 2, Overlord
Decent track, no joy.
pop-up group 05441 at 5,000
Did I lose it? No, it's still there. I'm gonna have to bind that to a button somewhere.
Dodge 2, Overlord 1-1, pop-up group 05041 at 5,000 knots.
Jesus, Sidewinder, come on. I think we might have run out of coolant on it. Because that should definitely see him. Alright, plus side we'll be able to look at the bolt. And we'll take better sidewinders. Alright, 34 I think is the other one with the better engine on it. Good times. Let's get rid of that. Alright. Air-to-air missiles. We've got Bravos, Echoes, Juliets, Limas, and Mikes. Various types of Papas. All available. With a couple of AIM-9Ms. For air-to-ground missiles, we have the Shrike. I'm just going to tune it to the flat face. Good times. Fuel tanks, but we've also got 1,000-pound A&M65s. Bolt 117 laser guided bombs. I'll put those on the outer pylons for the giggles once we get that going. Cluster bombs, M117s, Rockeyes, 81, 82, 83s. CBU dispensers. Bolt M117. Just for the gets and shiggles. We also have our strike camera pod. And of course the Zell booster.
Request rearming. Copy.
I don't have one set up for me just yet, but I could. I haven't done anything with the Zell launch system yet, so I have no idea how to fire it. Yeah, there we go, the Bolt 117. Quite literally just an M117, and we put a nose cone on the front with a seeker head and some steering wings on the back. But it's a 750-pound class laser-guided bomb, so, you know, I get Femur out there with a helicopter pointing a sparkler at something, we can get some precision. He would. Really would. All about that accuracy. Rockets. We have Lao 3 19-slot pods with Mighty Mouse. And the 7-slot rocket pods as well. Non-refuelable fuel tanks, so when they're done, you just get rid of them. Target marker flares. More cluster dispensers. Can we carry on the inner pylons, the innermost? Double and triple rack Mark 82s, 1,000-pound AN M65s, 1,000-pound Mark 83s. Wonder. Oh, cool. I actually still get the fusing options for that, which means that I could do something like a 4-second delay on the 1,000-pound bombs like I would in World War II time. We have a variety of fuel tank options, the 200 and 275-gallon non-refuelable. So you can't air refuel and refill those tanks, so when they're done, just get rid of them. 335-gallon and 450-gallon fuel tanks as well. A lot of options. I think I might have armed the weapons too early. But while I'm thinking about it, let me bind another key here somewhere.
Request rearming.
Radar reject.
Copy.
Guess it is just station bypass. All right. So I want that someplace where I can take it if the pylon, for whatever reason, needs to be reselected. All right. Let's do this again. Starter cartridge, install.
Copy.
No, I've still got bolts on board. It's not going to do me a lot of good without somebody here to designate.
Starter cartridge installed. Request rearming. Copy.
Pull my seat pins. I didn't hit the igniter fast enough.
Programming complete.
That's fine.
Chief, install the starter cartridge.
Let's put a new one in.
Unable to comply.
Suppose I could do it with ground air.
Chief, connect ground air supply.
Copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
Reset the tail hook.
Unable to comply.
Chief, apply ground air supply.
Copy. Air is now applied.
That is loud. I think I much prefer the shotgun start on that one.
Chief, disconnect ground air supply.
Copy. Ground air supply is now disconnected.
Okay. Set up our TACAN, transmit receive, turn on the radio. Anti-skid. All warnings and cautions are out. You know, for Chief, I will do this thing. Give me just a moment here, folks. All right, we need a Zell launcher. That way, since that's the usual way that we're taking off with it. Happy fun time. Plop ourselves down there, client slot. Take off from ramp, puts us right there on the thing. J5723, install the starter cartridge. All the other raw gear there, refueling probe standard is fine. Strike camera on, and let's bring up the loadout that we were using. Mostly to see if I can even get that damn thing off the ground. Tune for flat face installed. Let's make it a loft one this time. And no smoke pylon, but a Zell booster. good to me. Let's see what insanity we can have. Ba-ba. All right, we're on the cart. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that I probably should have everything all started up before we get going. We should have a starter cartridge already loaded. See if it did anything right there with it. My beacon light, I saw that one here a minute ago. Got it too much. It's on, that's on, that's on, that's on, and I'm gonna do it again because I was not waiting for that. Let's load a new one.
Install the starter cartridge.
Unable to comply.
Chief, install the starter cartridge.
Copy.
Starter cartridge installed.
Oh boy. Alright, it's gonna be wild. But I'm here for it. Okay, all warning and cautions are out. Just waiting on my various ADI to be ready to go. Pointed skyward. All right. Whew. That had a interesting splash script bug error. Is what the little chirp was. It does appear to have disconnected successfully on its own, so I didn't have to do anything with that. Okay, that was kind of cool. Sounded like I was my own missile. And for a brief moment, I guess I was. Okay. Yeah, we'll do another sortie here with the Hun, and then we'll give the A-45 a try. The early model export Tomcat was released at the same time as the F-100 with this last patch from yesterday, as well as updates to the Syria map, which means I should be able to put some work in on the F-14BU mission that I've been looking forward to. Also should include the early model Tomcat's glove vanes as artistic pieces that should pop up, or in certain flight profiles and parameters for both the A-45 and the A-135 early, before we strip those out of the aircraft because they were not as useful and a little mechanically complex, I think. It's probably the reasons they ripped those out. But it was thought at the time that, you know, it would aid in stability and everything else at supersonic speeds. Okay. We're climbing and cruising out there towards Creech. We'll just zip down here to Freedom Park real quick. You know, it occurs to me that I could probably put the F-100 actually on its little 00 launch rail. Fit in there. But yeah, Nellis, for growing up at least, the last aircraft that I saw on display there, because they've added a few more since then, like the A-10 is in there now. I think an F-16 and a F-15 might even be on display now too. But they had the F-117 the F-4, the F-5, in those colors. The F-100, the Mirage is standing in for the F-105, and then the F-86 was up there as well. Alright, so we'll cruise out towards Creech again. This time I'm carrying 9Ms on board the aircraft instead of the exceedingly limited 9Es that we were using earlier. I did score a kill with those, but 9Es are rough. It is nice that they, instead of counting the rivets, decided to give us, you know, some better quality type weapons for it, and just in case we wanted to use it in a more modern threat environment, either representative of other nations which have purchased our retired airframes as they left Air National Guard service, or because it's, you know, a Sidewinder and therefore very backwards compatible. Okay, I want to say it's going to be 018 after reaching our current waypoint. Raw's giving us the search pulses from the probably the SA-8 is what we're hearing way out in the distance, given the position on the Raw. Nope, it's the Raw system, the very primitive precursor to a modern RWR. Alright, we still got gas in the bag, so fire the afterburner up here. Set up for strikes. The only problem with that particular rotator, and I might still bind it someplace where I can access it with the HOTAS, but I'm still going to have to drop my head down to look at it. It's not like the F4s where it's, you know, just kind of here in the lower part of the frame where I can snap around and see what it is I'm using for a weapon. Alright, we're passing over Creech Air Force Base now, so let's go ahead and turn about 018. Right up towards Dreamland, and then turn in for Alamo. Try and engage the SA-2. And hopefully pick out those fighters. Or if the fighters are on the opposite end of their patrol path, we might be able to sneak in and drop some bombs into the zone. Which would be nice, because then I can get rid of the fuel tanks and fight clean. Flying the F-100 does remind me a lot of how unergonomic aircraft were until about the F-4. Like, the F-4, being an old frame and being a little clunky compared to exceedingly modern systems. That's the SA-6. He's not going to be able to shoot at us, but we are close enough that we're picking up his emitter. But even for something as clunky compared to a modern airframe with its MFDs and push buttons and everything else, the F-4 is as far ahead of the F-4 as that aircraft as it is to this aircraft. And there are a lot of ergonomic things that the Phantom does that are just comfy cozy compared to the switch dial and everything else dance. Like you have to be paying attention to the jet more or less the whole time. And if you aren't, it's going to saber dance its way into the fleur. Turn the ROS input down here just a little more. So we're actually picking up both radars from the SA-6 simultaneously here. As if you look on the RAW, we have this steady dotted line track, which is the track radar portion of the straight flush. And then we have this intermittent sort of shimmery effect. And that one is the search radar attached to the top of the straight flush that actually spins around. So we're catching its intermittent pulses every time it looks in our direction as it's doing its twirl. Which is kind of neat. It's nice that it'll pick systems out that way. It is also nice too, and you'll get used to it, I'm sure. But you can see across the top where it says ISAM, GSAM, ESAM launch. Those are the different radar bands. I-band radar, G-band radar, E-band radar. So as long as you have forgotten more about radar than most people have remembered, and you know which systems are operating in what band, you can use the Shrike page to help you out with that. Because the different Shrike bands are tuned to the same sort of frequencies. Your RAW will at the very least tell you which band of radar is looking at you, and then you can make an educated guess as to what system is actually there doing it.
Overlord 1-1, Pontiac 2. Request bogey dope. Pontiac 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 058 424 at 13,000 knots.
And they're 24 miles away. Got a little bit of time with them. And they're up Shrikes. For our one singular missile. Catching the search pulses in the direction of Alamo. Hoping that we can close about here to be able to successfully loft a shot into the place. I was practicing with this a little bit late last night and managed to kill the SA-8 system with the Shrike. So it can be done. But like most things with the Shrike, it is an interesting set of finesse. Alright, let's go ahead and turn and face it. That's the track system for the SA-2 looking at us. That is the Shrike, telling us that we're looking at the radar. And I'm going to pitch up to about there. That looks good. Magnum. And we're going to escape low to the north. he makes a slight right, he'll be okay. It looks like he's doing it. Yeah, he's lined up with the sight. Shrike might have him. Oh yeah, he's got it. He's got it. Come on, Shrike. Be a hero. Crunch. SA2 site eliminated. Okay, let's try a ripple with our bombs.
Pontiac 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 112, 426 at 12,000 knots.
STL fusing, manual mode, bomb selected. Now there is an SA8 in that town as well, which is problematic for us, because I don't have any Shrikes left. But we may be able to fight him from above his ability to shoot at us. We do have a couple of bombs on board. Ripple spacing is looking good. We are set for ripple pattern single each, ripple distance or ripple quantity of 2. That should get both the bombs off the jet. With any luck at all. And they will blow up what we need them to blow up. Okay, a little wobbly, that's okay. Those are going to drop way short. But, you know, that's okay. Now I'm going to warm up my missiles. And we're going to go get into a fight. AWACS. Where are my friends today?
Overlord 1-1, Pontiac 2. Request bogey dope. Pontiac 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 13648 at 14,000 knots. Pontiac 2, Overlord 1-1, merged.
And away we go.
Pontiac 2, Overlord 1-1, Bra 15342 at 18,000.
Oh, shit. And we're dead. That's okay, though. We'll change over to the F-14. It is a fun aircraft. I am enjoying it. It's a lot of new challenges for flying. But, you know, it is day one with it, so there's still a lot of things I'm both getting used to and having to think about, and not having countermeasures is one of them. It makes any infrared missile kind of dangerous. All right, so let's go ahead and grab our F-14A-45 GR. Actually, I'm going to take that back real quick. I want to make sure that I don't have any weird pylon limits there for it, because I did convert one of my F-14A slots I had on this NTTR mission. Yeah, let's just undo all that. There we go. We'll get the smoke winders off. That's kind of pointless. Okay, so completely removing the arms restrictions for the export variant Tomcat. We have AIM-54 Phoenixes in the A variant only. We have AIM-7E Sparrows. No fuel tanks. It will serve you well. And AIM-9J and AIM-9P variant Sidewinders, which are all rear aspect only. Go ahead and pop ourselves into a classic sort of Cold War loadout situation. As far as our skins go, we do have an American version of the Iranian camouflage skin, like prior to delivery. And then the Iranian Air Force desert pattern now. This is going to make it a very solid adversarial aircraft choice for dealing with any conflicts that are operating hypothetically in that region. Before I was using F-14As, just, you know, A-135 earlies or A-135 lates, depending upon when I had access to different aircraft. But this definitely gives us the right craft for the, yep, TF-30 only. We're going to have some screaming engines here on it. We're going to give ourselves our INS reference stored heading. We're not going to be operating off the boat, which is fine. Let's do it. I do like the music for the F-100. It's a good background that they got for it. Yeah, the big things that you lose compared to any of the American Tomcats, whether they are the 135 earlies, lates, and all that. You have basically all of the aspects of the A-135 early, which includes its RWR system. I think the export one might even be a little more limited, but don't quote me on that one yet till we've seen it. You also lose the TCS. There's no camera under the nose in the export version, in addition to the earlier variant missiles that were common to the mid-70s when the aircraft was actually sold. History lesson there for today, the F-14 was only exported ever to one other country. And that was the Republic of Iran prior to the fall. So that's the version of the jet that we got here today. Otherwise, it uses the same bindings and everything else as the regular Tomcat, so there is nothing new there.
Chief, turn on the ground power.
Copy.
This is exactly what you should use if you want to put it into a late nom scenario, because
Ground power is
the F-14 Tomcat, is a little known fact there for you, perhaps more broadly known if you're an extreme Tomcat enthusiast, is really the last of the Vietnam veteran aircraft, in that it served during the fall of Saigon in its first combat deployment. At least in its earliest form. Let's see, ground air supply connect.
Connect ground air supply.
copy. Ground air supply is now connected.
Roger.
Phoenixes were around in that time frame, at least in their early model
Closing
forms,
canopy. Check.
as it was originally designed to work with the F-111B back when Robert McNamara decided that we needed one fighter, one platform for all services. And the F-111 was going to be it. Like, the Air Force wanted a new tactical fighter bomber, the Navy wanted a new fleet defense interceptor, and the Marines wanted, another heavy bomber that they could use for close air support type roles. So the line of thinking on it was, we're going to have, a few different versions of the airframe, and that's going to save us money. Tell me if you've heard that one before in recent memory. Of course, we have better technology about it now, but, there are still a lot of cost overruns associated with the F-35 program. That goes into making something brand new. So yeah, the F-111 was designed to be that, and then it couldn't measure up. But the Phoenix was originally made to be carried by the F-111B for the Navy in the fleet defense role. And when that didn't work out, that's when they instituted, the Navy's VFX program that eventually led to the Tomcat. There's a bunch of different documentaries you can catch on YouTube for that one. There's one in particular that's like 1970s cartoon animation that's included with some of it, and they actually talked to some F4 and F8 pilots and provide early insight into, we know Flogger is available now, but they've also got this MiG-25 that is an air superiority fighter with a bunch of missiles on. We had no idea what the MiG-25 was, but we were scared of it. That's what we made the F-15 for. And then realized that we way over-engineered the F-15 to deal with that because it's an interceptor and not an air superiority fighter. And then the Russians got scared, and that's what led to the program that eventually produced the Su-27. I think the first real, true, all-services platform was probably the F4. At least that one was marginally successful at the job, too. Because you had Marines using it in some variants, doing their work. You had the Air Force folks using the C, D, and E variants. You had the Navy folks using theirs. She does have some good lines to her. She looks like she wants to fly and fight. But having played DCS now since it was lock-on modern air combat, and then before that, Flanker 2.0, I have had my fill of flying flankers. The Su-35 mod is pretty solid. Chief does enjoy that one a lot. It really adds a lot of modern strike capability to the platform too, which you don't get out of the Su-27 or Su-33 series to the same extent. You done yet, Jester? Look, I got places to be, buddy. I got things to show off. Got engines to scream and compressor stalls to have and inflatable glove vanes to pop out.
Ready to taxi.
Thank you. Yep, I flew J-11 as an aggressor with a couple of the different DCS squadrons that pop around there for a while when it was around. Really kind of gave me most of the good features of the Su-27 and some of the Box 3 missiles without having to mod those in with the R-77.
Chief, remove the wheel chocks.
Now, you know what, before I move,
Chief, turn off the ground power.
I don't need them asking what I'm doing.
Disconnect ground air supply.
Okay, so let's go get revenge on the MiGs that shot us down in the F-100. Runway 3 right. Well, it takes me the opposite direction I want to go, but whichever. We'll listen to the ATC. We're a Navy visitor to this Air Force base. I do like the feel of the A model Tomcat. But I know I'm going to love the BU when that's available. You know, I probably don't need all that runway. Where am I at? Yeah, that'll be fine. It's because I'm not to runway 03 right yet. All right, let's hit it. Zone 5. You can almost hear the Mighty Wings. I do wonder if they're going to make an earlier version of Red Flag for the F-100. That would be kind of wild. I'd pay for that campaign. And Steve, I do want to get back to doing the F4's Red Flag campaign again too. I have finished it. I enjoyed the whole thing, but I will happily replay some of those missions there and have them, recorded and posted and everything too for folks to see. All right, now I did reset this, which means the SA2 is going to be back active again. Reload the mission. So as long as we don't get too close, we should be fine.
Oh, I got nails on our nose, 12 o'clock.
This evening I've actually got a Blade Runner tabletop game that I'll be going to. So I'll not be on in the late afternoon to mid-evening. But I might pop in later on this afternoon and try and run something. Okay.
Nails, 10 o'clock.
Put our AP level. We got tankers here, so I'm not super
Friendly.
worried about fuel.
Stratoblast, 12 o'clock, 11 miles.
But I would like to see when those glove veins pop out. Yeah, yep, Pacific Standard Time. One might even say that I'm flying over home right now. Or Pacific Daylight Time, rather. We are supersonic. Oh, here they go.
Friendly, 11 o'clock, 10 miles.
Look at that.
I'm showing nails, 10 o'clock. Okay, there's dirt. 12 o'clock. Guideline.
Guideline? He's actually calling it it's for what it is. Okay. All right, Chester. Okay, that's interesting. Heapler, what'd you guys do? The glove veins are visible on the external model, but I can't actually see them from inside the cockpit. Alright, let's go ahead and slow it down, get ourselves situated for a fight. Master arms on.
Overlord 1-1, Chevy 1, request bogey dope.
All right, we've got mud right in front of us. 12 o'clock. SA2.
I'm sure they will fix that so that it shows up visually in the model. Mid-sand, it's going to be the SA2. And 4 seconds, Fox 1. Oh, that motor
Missiles
burned
tracking.
out. That motor burned out real fast. Go aim 7E.
Looks like nails. 9 o'clock. Let's do this. Bandits. Fish bed. 12 o'clock. 3 miles.
Yeah, that didn't do
Showing
it.
480.
Fox 1.
Missiles tracking. There's 510. Looking good. We're on a 6. 10 o'clock. 2 o'clock. 540 knots.
What a fantastically garbage missile. Fax 1.
9 o'clock high. Missiles tracking. Singer, 11 o'clock. He's right in front of us. Speed 460. Okay, there's 510. Sam! 6 o'clock. Hot. Speed is 570. Airspeed 490.
Yeah, a Samrat, the AIM 7 is going to be a
440.
fun garbage pail missile to use.
$12 o'clock. And that's 510.
We're above corner, he's going to merge through us.
6 o'clock. Speed 470. 11 o'clock.
Come on.
We're at 370. He's on our 6. Closing 270. 12 o'clock. 240 knots.
Land up and over, we're way
6
low.
o'clock. 290. Sorry, 280. 6 o'clock. And that's 320. We're at 350.
The AIM 7
7 o'clock.
Sparrow is, at least in the F variants forward, is actually a very decent weapon.
12 o'clock.
But those Echo Sparrows are something else.
12 o'clock. Four o'clock. Going 300, going good.
Getting wobbly.
Speed 220. 12 o'clock. 250 knots.
Getting wobbly.
$12 o'clock. Passing 310. Looking good, keep it coming. 370.
I swear,
We're at 420.
if I've got to close the gun range to shoot him, I will do it. Why are you in a turn fight with a 14, my friend?
390. 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Closing. $360.
Now I just want to kill him with the Sidewinder on principle.
Speed 340, or 400, Jesus. 430 knots.
And that is really rear aspect, isn't it?
We're at 460. Splash! Got him!
Kindly die. Okay.
Bandit is going down. 420. 7 o'clock low.
Fancy. Early model weapons. Not as forgiving as some of the newer stuff.
390.
Okay.
Fuels bingo.
Thank you, Jester. We'll go get gas. It'll be fine. Let's see. What did I put him on?
Whoa, we got nails. 3 o'clock.
He is 256, 55 Yankee. Oh shoot, is he shell or... Yeah, he's shell. Shell 2-1. AWACS, nope. Tanker, shell 2-1, intent to refuel. I was on the intercom.
Request rejoin. Shell 2-1, Chevy 1, request rejoin.
Okay, let's see. Practice does make perfect. Alright, so 55 Yankee was his tack-in. There we go. Things are in bomb mode. That should help us for the tanking portion. I thought I had a binding for my refueling probe. There it is. Yeah, that's how to do it. I mean, there's a lot of different, like, campaign-esque tutorial-style missions that people have put together. You know, even the instant action ones and all that, but I find it best to just build one, put the things that you want in it, and whatever starting position you want to make sure you can make the most of your time, especially now in the mid-40s and everything, where it's time is precious. Time is far more precious and far more scarce than it used to be when I was younger. I'll be there soon. Okay.
Ready, pre-contact.
Remember, I'm in an A model cat. Engine response is not quite as perfect as it is in the B. Fly ahead of the airframe.
Just a bit to the left. Reel it in.
Would have been fine if I was a flanker.
Little left. Just a bit to the left. We're connected.
Yeah, a little bit of toe wiggling, a bit of throttle manipulation. Should be in good shape.
Fuel 3500.
Generally, I try and keep the nacelle right about in that 12 o'clock position.
showing nails 11 o'clock.
It's just all throttle input.
Fuel 4,500.
And a little bit of toe wiggling or stick twisting, depending upon which setup you have. A little close. Back off the throttle a little bit. Remember that any big inputs in any direction require
Fuel 5,500.
opposite inputs to maintain position.
Fuel 7,000.
Now I definitely don't need a full tank of gas to go home. We have more than enough already. But why not? We're here. Do it on principle. Do it for the practice.
Fuel 8,000.
Halfway there. It's gonna be a hilarious day on Vulture's Road, the day they model like carrier wire breakage for
Fuel 9,500.
being too heavy to come back to the boat. It's one way to make people stop carrying 6 Phoenixes up, I guess.
Fuel 10,500. Fuel 11,500. Fuel 12,500.
A little under 4,000 to go.
Fuel 13,500. Fuel 15,000.
Don't fall out of it.
You can do it, man. We're taking fuel. Fuel 16,000. All right, we're full and we're good to go again.
Would have been one pull if not for that little minor disconnect right at the end. Alright. Go ahead and climb away from the tanker. ourselves on a very brief autopilot as we set up for 12 X-ray and return to Nellis. Nellis should be 327, I believe, by default.
Chevy 1, inbound.
Chevy 1, 58144, 427, QRV 28.09, runway 21, to pattern altitude.
Okay. So we're going to set ourselves up for an approach here, roughly over Garnet, Dry Lake, this part of town. Just as we might for the red flag missions in the F4.
All right, Nails, 5 o'clock.
I think we got a little bit of misalignment with our HUD. As it is canted off to one side. Probably from all the G maneuvering we're doing in the fight. We did have a couple of moments there where we're starting to rely on the suit for blood in the brain. Let's see, where's the accelerometer? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, no, there we go. It's pegged at 10s. We had fun. There's a point where the person I was doing a lot of the Tomcat stuff, we were getting into a lot of rolling dogfights and things against the enemy, and it was not uncommon for us to come back with the HUD and INS and everything else tilted about 45 or 50 degrees to one side or the other, and 13 Gs showing up on the accelerometer. That is definitely an airframe that's going to get written off. Alright, it's going to slow up a little bit. Wings full aft. Two, one right is our approach. And for the most part, the overhead brake pattern landing is very similar to a Case 1 approach on a carrier. Those who played the Speed and Angels campaign that they do for the Tomcat, which is also a very, very good one to do if you're looking to learn and experience a lot of the things that the airframe will let you do and all of that. Very good campaign that Reflected doesn't make bad campaigns. I'm convinced of that. He really puts the work in and does that. It does play on this map, you know, because they don't have Naval Air Station Fallon, unfortunately.
Chevy
or a rebuild of Miramar back when it was active. But they do basically have you come in here, and I recall one of the things that they tell you, it's like Navy pilots don't flare. And rumors I got from like airline pilots who do airplane flying for a living is you can sometimes tell who a hardcore Navy pilot is by how hard they thump the runway with the jet. But who knows? Might be a little more rumor. Both those are good campaigns too. I like those a lot. All right, 350 knots. We're about 1,000 feet up from ground level. So we're a little higher than a Case 1 approach. But in all other aspects, speed brake out, wings auto, throttles idle. .250, gear coming down. Flaps coming down. Spoiler brake I set on the ground. DLC is on. Our field bypass is set, so we shouldn't have our indexer lights blinking at us, although those are kind of dim right now. Making a lot of use of the rudder, because I do not want a compressor stall at this altitude, or I'm going to have to do some explaining to people over at the Motor Speedway. You know what, I might come in on 2-1 left here because it's a little safer for our approach.
.400 feet.
A model cat lands with the brake out. Fast. We can fix that. All the runway in the world, we don't need all that much to stop.
200 feet. 100.
Pull left on the stick, get those big horizontal stabilizers doing their thing. No adding drag to the airframe. Okay, flaps up. Spoiler brake off. Wings aft. Spider pulled. See if it'll let me roll that aft yet. There we go, wings into oversweep. Pull that brake back in. All in all, not a bad time. And I'm probably going to be spending some time here in the next few days, both doing mission building and working a lot with the F-100, so I can get a better feel for making that work. Might even help me a little bit with some of my manual direct bombing in the F-4, since I don't have any of the fancy assists for radar ranging and things in the F-100. But it's nice to see more Vietnam-era aircraft coming into the game. You know, we have the A6 on the horizon, we have the A7 on the horizon, which are also aircraft that both the, well, not in the A6's case, but in the A7's case, the Air Force and the Navy both used A7s. In fact, it was one of the times where the Navy was impressed with the Air Force because they swapped out the pair of, what is it, Colt Mark 12 or Mark 20, I forget which series they are for the autocannons in the original model of the jet, for the Vulcan, because the Air Force went, this aircraft's nice and all, but we kind of want to put an uprated engine in it, and we kind of want to put the M161, or M161 Vulcan, 161A1. So they took out the rotary autocannons and they replaced it with a Vulcan and gave it a better engine, and Navy said, we want that too, and that's how they got the A7E. Thank you, Chief. And that was pretty much the Air Force's, the A7D, the Air Force's close air support platform until the A10 took over that role. We do have a new 30mm autocannon gun pod for the F4, which is the younger cousin to the GAU-8 Avenger. That's available as of this batch too, so I'll probably make some time to play with that a little bit. Gotta say, fighting with the older style weapons on the Tomcat is a bit of a challenge, especially the AIM-7E with how short that motor is. That E-model Sparrow is really kind of like a almost dogfight quality radar guided weapon. At least that's my impression of it so far, but even then, close in as we were doing things today, it definitely did not measure up. What buttons are you pressing back there, my guy? We're not doing anything. All right, so lots of things to do, lots of things to see. Monday and Tuesday, I don't know if we'll be doing anything. No, we won't do anything Monday. Tuesday's the next stream. That's going to be spent with the F-100, maybe a little bit with the F-4, doing some red flag things if I don't get to it otherwise this weekend. But it should be a great time. As always, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Really does help keep me motivated for doing this kind of stuff for you guys. Love the teaching, love the showing off, and I love the new frames that we got coming to DCS. And looking forward to the B upgrade, which will be a great time. With that, folks, always ask for consent. Try to communicate as best you can with your partners. Try to be genuinely decent human beings. And I will catch up with you next time. Thanks for watching, folks. Pilum out.